Hello, everyone, and welcome to Light the Torch. Today, we have Martie Smith here with us. I'm so excited. I love Martie. We go back a little bit now. We've known each other for a couple years,
Yes.
and I'm so excited that we could help you publish this current project, Creative Chaos Warrior. And aren't a lot of us have to be creative when the chaos hits? So,
Yes.
thank you for this. Now, Martie is not new to being an author. This is actually book number 7 for her. So, lucky number 7.
Yes.
Martie, why don't you tell everybody listening a little bit about you and what really pushed you to write this book?
Okay, where do I start? I became an author during the least expected time for me during the pandemic, but what it was kind of like I was faced with flashing back to what I had lived, and I didn't want that. I didn't want to be shut in. I ended up in a wheelchair, and I've had 26 surgeries, so I was like, I'm not living down that path again. And at the same time, I didn't want to focus on the bad news of everyone passing away. My brother, even my own brother passed away. So it took a lot of for me to dare myself to think outside the box and really like launch out of the comfort zone. I had a major transformation. I lost 70 pounds, 70 inches.
Wow.
That was just the beginning. I didn't know I thought that was a huge accomplishment for me.
It is.
At the same time, it was like, okay, Martie, change that chip in your brain. Now I started taking empowering courses, and I started saying, wow, I've been way uninformed of my life, of what I could have used or extracted from all these traumas and dramas and things that I had lived. I was told I was a mistake when I was 7 years old, and for the longest time, 60 years, I believed everything I was doing, everything I was mistakes after mistake after mistake, even though I never focused on the ability to see the blessings in all of it. So the book came as a 3-day book camp, and I started believing that I need to write a book. I need to express myself. I think that's what's kept me all my life from not living my life fully, by not being able to express myself, because I was always afraid I was making a mistake. And what it really ended up being is I didn't love myself. I didn't trust myself to be that expressive. The book came, I started writing the chapters. I had already done a YouTube channel with all these different themes. The common denominator was resilience. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my book. Now just elaborate from with your story and go to town on that. And that's where Resilience Nourishes the Soul was published in 2022, December. 2023 launched me even further than I imagined, because in January of the same 2023, I won an award on resilience. Halfway through the year, they said, you've been nominated for a Woman of Heart Awards. And I'm like, okay, you must have the wrong Smith. I don't know. There's a lot of Smiths. I still doubted myself. And then they said, no, in September, they called me, come, you're getting your award. You won. And I was like, what? While
Wow.
while that is happening, next door in Ireland, they had nominated me for Women of Story of Global Impact. And I was like, what in the world have I created here? I started realizing that this is just the beginning of what ended up being turning my life around to a business, to something I love to do, to something that helps other people see that, hey, maybe if she could do it, if she's 65, if she went and she became a personal trainer after losing the weight at 62. And I was like, okay. It was just like one after another after another. And what I see now is I'm a woman of faith, but I also saw that God had been there the whole time, pouring out all these little, I say, angels, all these blessings that I had not noticed because I was so focused on everything bad that had occurred to me. And that's all I carried with me. I didn't have the clarity. I didn't see vision. I didn't dare to dream, because that would have been a mistake in my eyes. But this changed everything. When that book came out, I started saying, wow, this is impossibly uh happening to me. And at the same time, wow, why not? And I started loving myself. I started really catering to leaving a legacy of hope. I wasn't able to bear children, but I say if I can leave something good behind from compared to what I was raised in, that's the treasure of my lifetime. So that's what I'm focusing now on living a legacy of hope, of people being able to see maybe I'm not too old. Maybe I can empower myself. Maybe I need to look at things from a different perspective. Maybe I need to load myself with the right environment. Maybe I need to get out of the toxic situations I'm in. Maybe there's a lot of maybes that I haven't discovered, and that's where I find myself now, like, oh my gosh, what happened here? But it's the coolest thing in the world for anybody to experience. I am so grateful that I'm experiencing it, and at the same time blown away by the response to what I'm doing.
I love it. I love it. Well, talk to me a little more about this book. Like, what is the message that you hope people walk away with from this particular book?
So, creative chaos warrior, first of all, we have to arm ourselves with the tools to fight the massive confusion that's out there in the world. We don't even know what is right, what is wrong. Our
Mhm.
whole world got turned upside down because of everything that's happened. And so now we need to ground ourselves in our values, in our virtues, in our life, what it is that we love to do, what it is that we want to leave behind. And see, most of us worry about the past, and I was one of them. That we just we just focus on the past, but we don't focus on the present, and the present's the one that matters, because you take all those lessons from the past, all those opportunities to find solutions, and you put them in the present, and now you've got an experience list a mile long of everything that didn't work because I had the practice of it. And now I'm saying, okay, if I look at it in a different light, if I look at it from a different angle, just totally outside the box, and then you're like, I could do this. I got through all that stuff before. I didn't know how, I didn't know why, but now I'm picking out all the tools that are happening along the way, and I'm using that as my armor to complete a task at hand without getting disrupted by all the chaos that is around us. Because if we focus on everything that's gone wrong in this world, we'd be paralyzed. I would be.
Yeah,
And that's what I want people to say. It doesn't matter what's going on out there.
yeah,
It's what matters is what's in you. What matters is what
sure.
drives you, the balance of what you need to do to be happy, to create that environment for your family, to bring positivity to the world and change humanity.
What a perfect message, and at such a perfect time. There is so much more just noise right now, I think,
Yes.
and it's very easy to get lost in that noise. Um and lose that clarity that you need, like you're talking about. And so what a beautiful message, and I can't wait to read it, to be honest. I'm excited. Um so, you want to tell anybody a little bit about some of your other books and how they can find some of your other works? I mean, obviously, I want everyone to go on right now and check out the ebook version of Creative Chaos Warrior. And when you're there, click on her Authors Central and go check out Martie Smith and her other books.
Yeah.
Because the books are just really a journey of her life, but also this legacy that she wants to leave on trying to give people hope. And so, if you really need to be uplifted, inspired, and motivated, Martie is your girl. She's got you taken care of.
Yeah, basically I'm on Amazon, and some of the books I don't have the ability to list them or link them because they were on anthologies. But
Yeah.
either way, I have the English and Spanish version, which was something way out of my comfort zone. Even though I was born in Colombia, South America, I always was afraid to commit a grammatical error, or even worse, express myself with the wrong word in the wrong country. In Venezuela, a fruit is a fruit. In Colombia, it's a curse. And I'm like, oh my God, this is why English is a safe zone for me. And I think that's why I developed that expressiveness, especially because most of the schooling I did was on the state side. I've lived from all the way up north and to down south in Florida and as far out as Arizona. I became a Air Force veteran because I decided to serve this country. I said, "I like this country. I love
Aw.
protecting what it is."
Well,
And
thank you for that,
and
and, being you've traveled all over, but I do know what you mean, that sometimes from one, dialect to another, even within Spanish, you can definitely say the wrong thing,
and that's
and not mean to.
That's what I got left back in kindergarten because I didn't know my native tongue,
Mm.
but to hear my mom say I disgraced the family, so it was like, "Oh, wow, well, then why'd you move me?" But at the same time, I was their interpreter, so it's just I've now find the humor in my adventures because I've
Yeah.
had numerous adventures, and I can one honestly say without a doubt that my life has not been boring. By
Mm.
no means. And so that's what I want to share with the world, that people, and that's the thing, people, each and every person has that story. The
Mhm.
problem is we doubt ourselves. We think we have to be William Shakespeare to write. No,
Mhm.
express what you have. And if you don't have that help, come to me, I'll teach you. Because that's the thing is when you dare to do something way outside your comfort zone, you
Yeah,
start seeing, wow, no, maybe I could do this. And you get more creative. And that's what happened with me. I started writing one book and I was like, ooh, that would be a good thing to, and I get inspired with the slightest little thing. And it's like, okay, Marty, you gotta drop that memory down on your computer and start over again. But I love expressing myself, and this is, I think, the thing that was holding me back my whole life. But I express my, oh, I wish everybody would do it, because that's where we've gone wrong. We don't express ourselves enough of what matters.
yeah. It's true. It is true, and pushing past that comfort zone is, growing is uncomfortable, both physically, emotionally,
It's
mentally.
scary.
It is uncomfortable, but when you push yourself to do it, and the payoff is worth every inch of that pain, for sure.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. In that book, I say, okay, yeah, you're facing all this stuff, but what if you come back and you look after you've conquered whatever it was you were fighting, look back
yeah,
and say, wow, I got over that, and I got over that, and I got over that. Well, let's see what else I can get over, because that's what it's, a survival mode of our emotions. It's addressing the emotions as they come, instead of putting them there on the side and
yeah,
pretending that we're happy-go-lucky, when we know that our brain is swimming with a bunch of emotional luggage, and we got to clean out that emotional garage before we dare to dream. And that's the thing that I think, out of everything that I've learned, don't stop yourself from dreaming, and dream big, because you will be blown away when things start falling into play, when you start seeing that your life is changing, it's evolving, and it's getting so much more fun than what you used to live.
yeah. And I love there's one I read ahead, I kinda skimmed through earlier, but I'm definitely gonna dive in more later when I, uh, can print it out or get a copy in paper. When I love to highlight things, and that helps me remember stuff. But you said in there, "Becoming a creative chaos warrior is a path filled with challenges and options. It
That's
requires embracing I cannot talk to words,
ambiguity.
ambiguity, and thinking outside of the box, and
Yes.
taking risk while remaining adaptable, resilient to uncertainty." Those are such true words, because you do have to embrace that you don't know what's coming ahead, right?
Mhm.
And you have to think outside of the box, because the box you've been in hasn't really been doing what you need it to do,
Yeah. It
right? And then you've got to take that risk, but be aware that you're going to have to be adaptable and resilient, because that uncertain road, you don't know what's there. So you've got to be willing to adapt to it, and to stand strong even when it doesn't go the way you think. And I think that's where a lot of people fall off, is that, okay, this isn't all, roses, and it's not going the way I think, so I'm not willing to push past it. But being resilient to the uncertainty is definitely a really big key. So lots of really good nuggets in this book. I
Yeah,
love.
that's it. You talk about that box. If we're in that box, we're blocking ourselves from seeing what's around us. And yes, we might be comfortable, and we might have gotten a banky and in all our snacks and everything that we love to do, and nobody's going to mess with my mojo. Yeah, no, no, because you're gonna step outside and you're gonna say, "Oy, I don't want to see that," and so you're gonna be dodging everything that might be challenging. But if you face that challenge and you discover, "Oh wow,
Mm.
I knocked that one out of the park," so you start getting more daring. You start becoming braver, bolder, and more inspired. And once you become inspired and you start seeing the results of your dare to get out of that comfort zone, you start seeing people are noticing that transformation in you. And then they're like, "What kind of surgery did you have? What?" It's it, and that's it. It's as simple as stepping out of your comfort zone and starting, and just never
Mhm.
stopping, never giving up, never quitting. Take one step in front of the other, and if you backtrack, if you fall, scrape yourself, dust yourself, and you're going to build scars, but those are going to be war wounds because you are a warrior, and
Mhm.
you can overcome a whole lot more than your little brain thinks you can. But our brain is very protective, and they want the shortcuts. They want the survival. We got to get out of this situation. Forget about it. But it hasn't been forgotten. It's still in there. So clear your head,
Yeah,
dream big, and dare to step out of that comfort zone, and you will accomplish feats beyond your imagination.
I love it. I love it. It's so very true. Well, thank you, Miss Marty, for taking time to meet with me this morning and talk about this amazing new book. Everyone, you can get your copy of Creative Chaos Warrior on Amazon. Catch the ebook in just a few short weeks. The paperback's going to be available too, not just on Amazon, but at all the retailers. So, Marty, I'm so excited for you in this new journey with the book and everything that's in front of you. You've accomplished so much, and thank you for being that beacon of light and hope for others that it is possible and just push forward.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Heather, for inviting me onto this journey. And I recommend everyone check out SRS at She Rises Studios because you do rise. You do rise if you dare to do.
Thank you for that, Marty. Everybody have a good rest of your week. Thank you for your time.
God bless.